What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Listen, today we have a lovely video. Something, something I've been wanting to make a video on this for a long time, on time and how powerful time is, and how we've been we've been kind of like programmed to believe like what time is, the way they program us to believe how time work and stuff like that. So today we have a video from Santi Diego. Shout out to Santi Diego. But that's a very good channel because some of the things they talk about is like that's it resonate with me because that's some of the things I think about and I speak about sometimes. And they will be talking about time and how important it is and how we view it and why we view it in the way that we view it. And the title says, "Wasted time is powerful. Is power unnoticed." Let's get into it. We're gonna talk about it. Get deep. Let's go.
Not being productive enough? Ever felt like time is slipping through your fingers while you're doing something that seems pointless? Here's a brutal truth. You'll never win this race.
Never.
We live in a world obsessed with productivity, where every second needs to be enjoyed to the fullest. But the great irony is that the greatest minds in history, from Da Vinci to Steve Jobs, didn't follow this logic. They wasted time, and they did it on purpose. So the real question isn't how to avoid wasting time, but rather, do you know how to waste time the right way? In the next few minutes, you'll discover that what you've been taught about time and productivity is wrong. And more importantly, you'll learn how to transform your
Well, first, we're the topic of this time, but I feel like in general, everything you've learned, you've been taught from school, from TV, from news, from world leaders, all of it is lies. It's nothing but lies. It has always been lies, and moving forward, it will always be lies. So you have to understand everything you've been taught by these people is absolutely all lies. None of it is true. They might sell it to you like it is truth, but in all reality, it is not. So your whole life actually has been a full lie. Some people may accept it, some may not. But for the ones who accept it, have understanding and they know where they stand. But for the ones who don't, now they're in a place thinking that everything is true. But these people tell you, sad to see, but your whole life is a lie. Tough.
free time into a true catalyst for power and creativity. If you've ever felt like you're wasting your life, comment time in the comments and we'll get straight to the point. Imagine you are sitting around doing nothing, just observing the world around you. In a world obsessed with productivity, this simple act is enough to make you be judged as someone who is wasting your time. But what if I told you that the most brilliant minds in history did exactly this? Leonardo da Vinci spent hours simply watching water move before creating his inventions. Einstein formulated the theory of relativity in moments of daydreaming. Archimedes understood the principle of buoyancy while relaxing in a bathtub. What do these stories teach us? That what we call wasted time may actually be the most valuable time we have. Society has created the illusion that being constantly busy is synonymous with progress. Since we were little, we have heard phrases like "stop wasting time," "work hard," "time is money." This has conditioned us to believe that moments of rest are wasted, when in reality,
Moments of rest is it's supposed to allow your mind to think freely. That is what rest time is. That is what time alone is to allow your mind to think freely and have no outside influence. So that's why time by yourself is so important. That's why you need self-reflection. That is why self-reflection is a thing. And when you allow your mind to sit by itself and allow it to think for itself, that's when you get new ideas. That's when your brain itself develops and you develop as a person. Because you might start thinking differently. You might start doing things differently. You might see life from a different perspective compared to everybody else. Right. So when you find the time for yourself, uh, you need to take that as something that is good. I need that. I need this time alone. I need this time for myself. Right? And that's the only way you can truly grow. You cannot truly grow by being around people and trying to make people always influence you. So sometimes you need this time for yourself so you can think clearly on what I need to do. So then the decision you make is all upon your mind, not what somebody else tell you. And that's why a lot of people cannot make these decisions for themselves because they always steady trying to have somebody tell them something and to take somebody else's information into theirs. You could, but don't let it influence to where you only do something just because somebody else tell you, if that makes sense.
They are essential for the development of strategic and creative thinking. The problem is not rest, but rather the way we approach it. If you watch random videos for hours without purpose, you are effectively wasting your time.
Right.
But if you play a strategy game, engage in a mind-expanding conversation, or simply let your mind wander, you are strengthening your cognitive capacity. The real world doesn't reward those who simply follow a rigid productivity schedule, but rather those who know how to think more deeply and innovatively. Robert Greene understood this when he studied the greatest strategists in history. He realized that true power lies not in being busy all the time, but in knowing when to slow down. Great leaders, artists, and inventors have always set aside time for productive leisure, knowing that the mind needs breaks to connect ideas and create original solutions.
Absolutely.
However, most people fear silence, fear being alone with their own thoughts. So they fill every moment with empty
And that's so, I always speak about the silence getting loud, and I respect that he touched upon that part. I have from, I would say from the age, from the time I was like, can't even remember what age I was, but I used to always just like having conversation just to see for information. I just like having conversation so I could get information because I'm obsessed with information. I love to know things, to find things out. And I've come to realize that a lot of people do not like the silence. It's like they don't like when that silence get loud because they break down, they can't handle it. But that is so powerful. You have to understand that when that silence get loud, how powerful that is. Because tell you what, that's yourself reflecting to you that you have done wrong. You have done some things that you were not supposed to do. You're in a position you're not supposed to be in. So that is why when the silence get loud, people are like, I can't do it. I need to distract myself because they can never truly just allow that silence to leave and let it get loud and see, well, okay, oh, I need to make that change. I need to do this. I need to do that. So that's why a lot of people cannot truly just be by themselves and just sit in their own self. They can't. 'Cause it's so hard. Because when life start reflecting back to them, guess what? Then they break down and they're like, it's too much. Then like, oh, let me distract myself. No, sit down in that silence, allow it to get loud, and then reflect upon it and see what can I do better? What do I need to do? Let me reflect upon myself. Let me see. Am I truly a good person, like I said? Am I a man of my word? Do I stand on what I say? Am I a liar and I just lie to everybody? Well, then yourself is gonna reflect it to you. When you take time for yourself and reflect upon yourself, that's the only way you're gonna figure out who you truly are. So I cannot tell you who you are. Nobody else can tell you who you are. Only you could tell yourself who you are and be honest with yourself. We live in a place where now everybody want to lie to themselves. It's not gonna work. You have to be honest, brutally honest, actually.
distractions that add no value. Have you ever stopped to think about why you feel such a need to always be doing something? This urgency may not be yours, but rather a conditioning imposed by a system that wants you to stay busy, but never truly powerful. The key is not to avoid wasted time, but to redefine it. If you learn to use it strategically, it becomes one of the most powerful tools you have. If wasted time can be a secret weapon for brilliant minds, why do so many people end up trapped in cycles of procrastination and frustration? The answer lies in the fact that most people don't know the difference between strategic rest and unconscious escape. There's a huge difference between taking time to let your mind breathe and simply distracting yourself without direction. The problem isn't leisure, but the lack of structure to make it work in your favor. When rest is planned, it becomes a powerful tool for creativity, mental clarity, and decision-making. When it's uncontrolled, it becomes an escape mechanism that leads to stagnation. Robert Greene observed that the greatest strategists in history not only accepted idleness as part of the process, but also meticulously structured it. Napoleon Bonaparte, for example, was a master at the art of the strategic pause. He knew when to step away from battles to reflect, analyze, and visualize scenarios before taking action. Da Vinci interspersed intense periods of work with moments of pure contemplation, where he simply observed nature without rushing. These men did not see leisure as a luxury, but as an essential element to maintain clarity and control over their minds. The problem with most people is that they do not know when to stop and when to regain control. They indulge in leisure without intention as a way to escape the pressures of reality. The consequence of this is a vicious cycle where rest turns into procrastination, and procrastination generates guilt. Instead of returning to work refreshed, these people return even more exhausted, trapped in a state of constant anxiety. To avoid this, it is necessary to define specific times for rest, giving it a clear purpose. If you are going to watch a movie, choose one that expands your perception. If you are going to play a game, choose one that develops your strategic skills. If you are going to spend time alone, use this time to reflect on your next steps.
That's my thing, do things that means something to you. Don't do things that is gonna just bring you just strictly happiness. Okay, if I'm doing something, my intent for me to learn something out, for me to get a message, get something out of it. What am I getting from what am I do from what I'm doing? What am I getting out of me playing video games? What am I getting of from me watching this TV show? What am I getting talking to this person? What am I getting from them? What positive impact are they gonna have on me? How are they gonna change my mind? How are they gonna make me think different? How are they gonna make me see something in such a good way that I'll be like, oh, I never thought of it that way. Why? How? That is the question you need to ask yourself. Why am I talking to this person? Why am I listening to this? Why am I consuming this? Why am I eating this? All these things reflect upon, listen, is any of these things gonna help me moving forward? How is that gonna push me forward? If I eat McDonald's every day, right? And I want to get in shape, I want to look good, I want to feel good. Well, tell you what, I gotta cut out McDonald's then. I can't eat McDonald's no more. Now I gotta start eating steak, potatoes, I mean, fruits and veggies, stuff like that gonna help me get in a better place, have me in a better mood, have me feeling better, have me looking better. If I talk to somebody and all they talk about is negativity, and all they talk about is how bad the bad they see in people, say something about the good they see in people, well, that shows me I cannot be around somebody like that. I can't. Why would I want to be around somebody who always talk down on others or always talk down upon themselves? I can't be around somebody like that. I don't want to have conversation with somebody like that. Right? If I'm watching a TV show, what am I learning from this TV show? How is that gonna expand my mind? My cognitive thinking. How is it? It won't. So why am I consuming it? For what reason? Okay, that's done. I cut that off. So then you do things with meaning. Do things that mean something to you. Don't just take part in stuff just because you bored or oh yeah, I just feel this way, so I'm gonna just do it. No, do it with intent. If you do it with intent, then the result of it is gonna be way much better if you don't do it with intent. If you just do it free, just willingly, and you gotta learn something from what you're doing, what you're consuming, who you're talking to. You have to learn something from it, right? And that's the importance of it, because you want to be able to move forward in life and have a better life. So be more cautious of the things that you do.
Separates a master from an amateur is the intention behind their actions. Leisure is not an enemy as long as you treat it as an ally. The secret is learning to switch off at the right time and refocus with renewed energy. In the next chapter, we'll talk about the factor that truly defines the value of your time: purpose. Without it, even productivity becomes empty. If structured rest prevents you from falling into the trap of procrastination, there is an even deeper factor that determines whether you are truly using your time wisely: purpose. Without a clear sense of direction, even the most productive activities become empty, and leisure itself can lose its meaning. The big problem is that most people never stop to define what they really want. They go with the flow, busy with tasks and distractions, but without a bigger vision that gives meaning to their actions. This makes time seem like an enemy, something that is always slipping away, but never enough. Robert Greene studied the lives of countless masters in different fields and noticed a pattern. Those who had a clear purpose saw time in a completely different way. For them, each moment, whether of intense work or rest, played a role within a larger strategy. When you know where you want to go, even leisure time becomes part of your growth. An
Absolutely.
artist who
We need that
understands his
rest.
purpose
Yeah.
watches films, reads books, and even walks the streets with an analytical eye, absorbing references. A strategist finds learning in games, sports, and social interactions because he sees these experiences as training for his mind. Purpose transforms time into a valuable resource, and not something that needs to be filled at any cost.
So the importance of, taking time off or taking a rest day, nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Taking a rest day and taking a day to just chill. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Because the reflection you need to make is important. And the reason why the reflection you need to make is important because then now you can see how can I grow from where I'm at right now. I might be in a good place now, but how can I get into a better place? That is why I need a rest day so I can ease my mind and think in a way, well, okay, I have all this. I strategize it in such a way that I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to do this, that, that. So then now you have a better understanding of how to move forward instead of being stagnant and working every day. And that's one thing I used to do too. I used to constantly try to just do till one day I say, yo, step back, think on it. Think first. Take the time out, take a couple of days off. Think on it first. Reflect upon it. See where you went wrong. Then you attack it again. So then the next time moving forward is gonna be better. You're gonna be in a better place because now you have an understanding of what you did wrong and what you should not do and what you should do moving forward. So that's the importance of it. That's the importance of a rest day. That's the importance of a day of reflection. That's the importance of, mirror talking. That's the importance of all these things. Because the reflection upon the self, right? That's what's gonna push you forward. That's what's gonna get you in a better position. And I like that he touched upon that topic. It's lovely. Let's continue.
Separates a true master from someone who just goes through life is this awareness. While most people fight against time, trying to make the most of it in a chaotic way, those who understand their purpose know that they don't need to be always busy to be evolving. They are clear about what really matters and eliminate the rest. This means that there is no guilt in resting because it is part of a greater plan. It also means that productivity stops being a frantic pursuit and becomes a tool for achieving something concrete. If you feel like you are constantly wasting time, perhaps the problem is not time itself, but the lack of a direction that tells you where to direct it. The real waste is not in resting, but in living without intention. Now, the question you need to ask yourself is, are you in control of your time, or are you just reacting to the impulses of the world around you? The
See
answer
that?
to this question defines whether you will be a master of your life or just another pawn in the game of someone who understood it before you.
Absolutely.
Now that you understand that time is not the enemy, but how you use it, the final question is, what are you going to do with this information? Most people will continue on exactly as before, stuck in the conditioning that they need to be busy all the time, dreading any moment of pause, accumulating guilt whenever they are not producing. But the few who truly understand this concept will begin to observe their time more strategically. You don't have to fill every minute of your day with work to be successful. What you do need to do is structure your time intelligently. Know when to slow down and when to act. Learn to differentiate strategic rest from unconscious escape. Create space for your mind to work for you, instead of being enslaved by the relentless pursuit of productivity. Robert Greene did not become one of the greatest strategists of our time by following rigid rules of efficiency. He understood that true power lies in the ability to think, reflect, and act with intention.
That's a lovely video right there. You know what I'm saying? At the end, I really had nothing to say, but now something just came to me. St- Structure your time in such a way that it will be productive to you, that it will be have you in a good place. And that's something I used to struggle with a lot. Not managing my time in such a way that it could push me forward. I just do things whenever, right? But now I have a strategy, and I stick to that, and that it works for me. It puts me in a good place. So all I can tell put everything in the strategy. So then when you attack it, you know exactly what to do, at what time to take it. What time to do it. And that will push you forward in itself. But if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.